You won't believe what's starting to heat up behind the scenes right now, because just when everyone thought the Kansas City Chiefs were done making moves, something unexpected is quietly building. And trust me, this one has the potential to shake things up in a way nobody saw coming. So here's the situation. The Chiefs are reportedly keeping a close eye on a receiver who doesn't always dominate headlines, but brings something this team has been missing. We're talking about a tough, physical, gritty wide receiver, the kind of player that doesn't just catch passes, he punishes defenders, fights for extra yards, and thrives in high-pressure moments. And that name is Jauan Jennings. Now at first glance, some fans might be thinking, wait, why Jennings? Why now? But if you really understand what Kansas City has been building, this move actually starts to make a lot of sense. Because let's be real for a second, last season, the Chiefs' offense had flashes of brilliance, but it wasn't always smooth. There were moments where the passing game felt inconsistent, moments where the wide receivers struggled to create separation, and moments where Patrick Mahomes looked like he needed someone he could truly rely on in tough, physical situations. Yes, they have speed. Yes, they have playmakers. But what they've lacked at times is that reliable physical presence who can win contested catches, who can go across the middle without fear, and who can bring that edge when games get tight. That's exactly where Jennings fits in. This is a player who doesn't shy away from contact, a player who embraces the dirty work, the kind of receiver who turns a simple third down play into a momentum-shifting moment. And when you look at what the Chiefs are trying to do right now, adding that type of mentality could be huge. Imagine this for a second. It's late in the fourth quarter. The game is on the line. The defense knows a pass is coming. And instead of relying only on speed or finesse, Mahomes has a target who can physically out-muscle defenders and make the tough catch when it matters most. That changes everything. And here's what makes this even more interesting. This wouldn't be a blockbuster, headline-stealing move. This is the kind of signing that flies under the radar at first, but ends up becoming one of the smartest decisions of the season. We've seen it before with Kansas City. They don't always go for the biggest names, they go for the right fits. Players who understand their role, players who buy into the system, players who can step up when the lights are brightest. Jennings checks a lot of those boxes. Now let's talk about the timing, because this is where things get really intriguing. Why would the Chiefs be looking at a late addition right now? That tells you something. It tells you the front office isn't completely satisfied yet. It tells you they're still evaluating, still looking for ways to improve, still searching for that missing piece that could push this offense to another level. And honestly, that's what separates great teams from the rest. They don't get comfortable. They don't assume what they have is enough. They keep pushing, keep adjusting, keep upgrading, even when everyone else thinks they're done. And right now, it feels like Kansas City is quietly doing exactly that. But let's go deeper, because this isn't just about adding another receiver. This is about identity. The Chiefs have built their dynasty around explosive plays and elite quarterback talent. But in the modern NFL, defenses are getting smarter, faster, more physical. They're finding ways to limit big plays and force offenses into tough situations. So how do you counter that? You get tougher. You add players who can win when things aren't perfect. Players who don't need wide open space to make an impact. Players who can turn a contested moment into a successful play. That's Jennings. He's not flashy. He's not the guy making viral highlights every week. But he's the kind of player coaches love because he shows up when it matters. And imagine him learning within this system, catching passes from Mahomes, being part of an offense that constantly puts pressure on defenses. That could unlock a whole new level in his game. Now here's another angle that fans aren't talking about enough: competition. If Jennings comes in, he's not just adding depth, he's creating pressure. Every receiver in that room suddenly knows nothing is guaranteed. Every snap, every route, every opportunity has to be earned. And that kind of internal competition, it makes teams better. It sharpens the entire unit. It forces everyone to elevate their game. And when you combine that with the leadership already in the locker room, you start to see how a move like this could have a ripple effect beyond just one player. But of course, not everyone is convinced. Some fans are questioning whether this is really the move the Chiefs need. They're asking, shouldn't the team be targeting a bigger name? A more proven star? Someone who instantly upgrades the offense on paper? And that's a fair question. But here's the thing, championships aren't won on paper. They're won with chemistry, with fit, with players who understand their role and execute it at a high level. And sometimes, the smaller moves end up being the biggest difference makers. Think about it. How many times have we seen a role player step up in a crucial moment and completely change the outcome of a game? That's the kind of impact Jennings could bring. Now let's talk about Mahomes for a second, because ultimately, this move is about giving him what he needs to succeed. Mahomes is at his best when he has options. When he can trust his receivers to be in the right place to make the tough catches to fight for every yard. Adding a physical receiver like Jennings gives him another weapon, another layer to the offense, another way to attack defenses. And when Mahomes has that kind of versatility, defenses are in trouble. Because now they have to prepare for everything. Deep shots, quick passes, scramble plays, and now physical, contested catches in traffic. That's a nightmare to defend. And if you're a Chiefs fan, that should get you excited. Because this isn't about making noise, this is about building something even stronger. Something more complete. Something that can adapt to any situation. But here's where things get really interesting. Nothing is official yet. This is still developing, still evolving, still something to watch closely. And that uncertainty, that possibility, that what-if factor, that's what makes this story so fascinating. Because if it happens, it could be one of those moves we look back on later and say that was the moment everything changed. That was the piece that helped take this offense from great to unstoppable. And if it doesn't happen, well, it still tells us something important. It tells us the Chiefs are thinking differently, looking at new angles, considering options that go beyond the obvious. And in today's NFL, that kind of mindset is dangerous. Because while other teams might be standing still, Kansas City is always moving, always evolving, always searching for that next edge. So keep your eyes on this situation because it's not over yet. Something is brewing. And whether it turns into a signing or not, one thing is clear. The Chiefs are not done. Not even close. And if this move does go through, don't be surprised if Jauan Jennings becomes one of those names everyone is talking about by the end of the season. Because sometimes the quietest moves make the loudest impact. And this one? This one has that kind of potential.